Beardos, weirdos, balls and ghouls, how are we all doing? Big bad Beardo weirdo. Arr! Okay, so if you're here for debunking, shit talking, and the usual shenaniganry, is that a word? It is now. This ain't it. This is a happy video. This is a positive video. This is a video saying to you, who keep saying to me, who are the real legitimate channels that we should check out? Beardo. There'll be no Billy bullshit. There'll be no Beardo list. There'll be no banhammers. There'll be no rars. Maybe. This is all about those teams that go out week after week after week after week, spending silly amounts of money on cameras and fuel and time away from the family, for 9 times out of 10 to come home empty-handed and be like, oh, it was a cool investigation, but nothing happened. Now, you know the big boys, the Ouija Brothers. You all know them. Everyone knows I love them. I'm taking the piss a little bit. But no, obviously the Ouija Brothers, they were the first real paranormal channel that I discovered. And I discovered them back in the lockdowns. And what drew me to them was I'd stepped away from watching anything paranormal. It was just all these teams on YouTube, on mainstream TV, going out, doing stuff, and I was going out. Why was I not getting the same things? And I watched the Ouija Brothers, and about 30 minutes in, I'm like, this is kind of boring, but brilliant for it. There's no shenanigans, no tomfoolery, no... And when something does happen, it's like, right, let's get to the root cause of it. They're debunking on the spot. I've never seen this before. And it was brilliant. They mix up paid locations with abandoned locations. Then they did a massive debunk video, basically debunking certain devices and EVPs. And they did one of my favourite videos of theirs, away from the paranormal, was a April Fool's video they did, which was fantastic. It showed just how easy everything can be manipulated to create a ghost. Obviously, I moderate for the channel on the lives. Me and Steve have become very close friends, and I respect them as an investigation channel. I respect them for their editing and the filmography, and that has bled down into so many channels, both that are on this list. And despite how big a channel the Ouija Brothers are getting, they will help out small channels. I was under 1,000 subscribers when the Ouija Brothers were like, yeah, cool, react to whatever you want. I had no idea they'd been watching my debunking content. I know for a fact they helped Dead Cold out with editing stuff. They've helped me out with editing and learning to frame and shoot B-roll. And I've had some fantastic advice. And there are numerous channels out there that have said in my live streams and in their live streams that the Ouija Brothers have helped them along the way with editing advice, camera advice, equipment advice. And for the big boys on the field, congratulations for the 100,000 subscribers. You more than deserve it. For a team that keep it real, absolutely fantastic. And they are the go-to for me to send people to watch. Next up, we got Ghosts on Trent. Now, I've investigated with Ghosts on Trent twice. They are fantastic people. Lovely guys. Me and Paul, again, much like me and Steve, we have a friendship. We've all gamed together as well, and that's been a lot of fun. Mark is one of the most lovely people I have met in the paranormal field. But again, real investigations where quite often they walk away from somewhere going, nothing happened. Very quiet night again, mate. When they do get something, Mark and Paul are sort of polar opposites, where Mark is more quick to be like, that could be paranormal, where Paul is like, whoa, stop, wait, let's look, let's debunk. And, if Paul was ever in a position where he couldn't go out and investigate, he would make a fantastic debunker. They've got a passion for it. Absolutely love Ghosts on Trent. Good guys, great investigations, again, fantastic editing, fantastic B-roll shots. They know to set a mood with the introductions and things, and they're very, very chilled out in their approach to paranormal investigating. I have loved working with them, much like I have loved working with the Ouija Brothers. Next up, Real Evidence. One of the newer channels to come through, and I've worked with these guys twice. I've worked with these guys twice as well. I've been on investigations with them. Very, very skeptical paranormal investigators. Very. Which kind of sits in line with the way I like to investigate the Ouija Brothers, Ghosts on Trent, etc. And I'll try not to keep going back on channels that I've already mentioned. So I got turned on to these guys quite early, and they had cat balls on REM pods and all the rest of it, and I took a bit of a chance with them, and I was like, guys, your investigations to me are you guys just sat there looking at equipment, waiting for the equipment to trigger, and because you're a real channel, it really does. And then they were like, do you know what? You're right. And then they got rid of all the equipment, and then they've gone back to the basics of investigating. And then, you know, if they want to bring the equipment in again, now they've gone back to basics and they understand a little bit better, then cool. But they took a critique from a debunker and possibly a few other channels, and I've done so much better for it. And then the first time I went out and investigated with them, I was like, you guys are really funny. And I've not seen that in your videos. And they were like, yeah, we've been cutting the banter and the stuff out. And I'm like, but in having a laugh at these places and having a bit of banter at these places, that could stir something up, you know, put a bit of life into a building. And now they've been including all of this sort of stuff that possibly could have made it into an outtake video before. And then it becomes like you're watching your mates go on an exploration and a paranormal investigation. Just really enjoyable. Again, just nice people. And this is the thing with this cluster of channels that I'm going to be naming. Not only are they very good investigators, but there's going to be some channels I mentioned that are not investigators, but they're very, very nice people. Just the nicest people you could meet. Now, a lot of people keep saying to me, oh, you don't support any American channels. Why is that? Well, most American channels are just so over the top, overblown fakery. I can't get behind them. But there are a few. I really enjoy Paranormal Quest. I've had a lot of interactions with Paranormal Quest. In fact, I attended one of their live streams where they were live streaming a paranormal investigation. And they were like, Beardo's here, shit, hide the REM pods, quick, turn the apps off. And it wasn't done with any malice, it was done with fun. And they were so welcoming to me, and the community was so welcoming to me. And we've spoken behind the scenes. I like the content. I like the journey. And I like how they have now got this Coffee and Scream podcast. And they are not afraid to call out the bullshit for what it really is. They have name dropped some big channels as fake, and that is a risk for these guys. And I think they watch the debunkers, and I think they learn from the debunkers, not to get better at faking, but to get better at investigating. And I respect that, and I enjoy that. And the interactions I've had with these guys, they just come across as really nice people, and they have a love for the paranormal, and it shines through. And another American channel that I've just recently got into is Willow Paranormal. I think I've been on a podcast panel with her, and I watched a couple of their videos, and I like what I see. And there's another channel, and I've been trying to search for them, and I can never remember the name of them, and they will pop up in the comments, and I'll add them to the sort of description. But I did a podcast, and there was with Dead Cold, who's also on this list, and they did a section where they went into a prison with an acoustic guitar. And to try and coax the spirits out, Chris is his name. God damn it, I can't remember. But Chris starts playing the guitar and plays a song, because at prisons in America, they bring artists in to play. And they were like, you know, does this song sort of resonate with you? And then he plays and sings a song to the spirits of the prisoners. And I was like, what a fantastic idea. Something I haven't seen done before. It may have been done before, but I've never seen it. And then sort of watching the videos, they just come across as the type of people I would love to investigate with. Really enjoyed them. But for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the channel. And I really do apologise. Cat and Chris? Cat and Chris, please tell me your channel name. Dear God. Right, next up, Mr. 5'2" sexy voice himself. Dead Cold Paranormal. Mark, again. Lovely, lovely guy. Who has, behind the scenes, when I've gone through some shit and when I've had shit thrown at me, has been the voice of reason, been the guy to be like, giving me some good, calm, level-headed advice, you know, from somebody that's a little bit older than me. And I respect my elders because I was brought up the right way. His investigations are fantastic. His voice, everybody loves his voice. his stories, he does like a Spotify story of urban legends and things like that, and they are really, really good. And he has a love for the paranormal. He has a love for the paranormal stories. You'll see him in everyone's premieres and live streams. He never tries to self-promote or anything. He also has a second channel to do with hot sauces. They are fantastic. Some hot sauces you get are just vinegar and volcano, and it's like, my ass is going to bleed in the morning. Whereas Mark's, some of them are very hot, but they are so tasty. So tasty. He's even done a Ouija Brothers themed one. Just amazing stuff. A very nice guy. A truthful, honest investigator. He's caught some little bits in locations where I'm like, fair play. But again, he debunks as he goes. He calls out. He looks for causes of things. And I respect that. Don't watch this channel and expect a serious paranormal investigation. Three Spires Paranormal. Now, they do investigate in a serious tone at times. They do completely lose track of what they're doing and laugh their asses off at times and keep it in the video anyway. But just really nice guys, no fakery, and when nothing is happening, that's when they start laughing and joking and all the rest of it. But they'll say, you know, we're trying to inject a bit of atmosphere into what's been an empty building for however long. Nice guys, great content, and you can see that he's putting more and more effort into his editing and into the sounds of his investigations, and I appreciate and I respect that, and I'll be working with him soon along with this next channel, I Conjure, the owners of the noisiest coat on the internet. I Conjure, they've had my back for quite some time, not sort of publicly, but when I'm getting the horrible stuff thrown at me in the past, they reach out to me in private messages just to check I'm okay if I'm dealing with it. Everyone knows I made a sterner stuff, but they like to check, and I really appreciate that. And they're another channel that had equipment everywhere. It was like a Mary Poppins bag of paranormal gadgets and gizmos and all the rest of it. And they scaled that back. They took a bit of a break and they looked at their own content. And I'm a fan of people that can self-reflect and be like, this isn't what we started. Let's go back to basics. And I appreciate that. And, you know, they've got a love for the paranormal. You can tell by cameras, the DJI microphones. We've all got very similar equipment for our videos, and none of it is that cheap. And it's just because we have a love of it, we invest in it. We invest our time, our money, our effort. And again, Kim and Chris are such nice people, just really down-to-earth people, and again, they're not afraid of having a giggling fit in an abandoned location. Great editing again, and, you know, people that I trust, because there was a noise I heard in one of their videos, and I'm like, I don't know what that was. And not for a single second did I think they faked it, but I was like, I'm interested in that. Do you guys have the raw footage? I've been trying to download it for 2 days. They sent me everything. Both cameras, 4 DJIs, everything. And unfortunately, my Google Drive is full. I downloaded Dropbox and it's only enough to get 1 video in there. But they didn't have anything to hide. They wanted me to look at the raw footage. And that's something that catches a lot of people out, because they're like, I deleted the raw footage of that ghost event. Did you shit? If you actually capture something, you keep it. I appreciate them. I enjoy their company. And again, I'll be working with them. Somebody else I've worked with, Staffordshire Paranormal Explorers. Rianne. Not Rian. Don't call her Rian. Her name's Rianne. Idiot. And James, again, lovely people. And Rianne is far more skeptical than James is. James is a bit more like, ooh, what was that? And Rianne will go, it's a knock. And she has the greatest laugh on the platform. She laughs like Muttley. It's fantastic. But again, they try to debunk. They look for root causes before claiming anything is paranormal. They've sent me raw footage. They sent me a drone shot, and they're like, what do you think that is? And I was like, I think that could actually be the reflection of the drone. And I was wrong. And they explained that. And I looked again, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a trick of the light. And they were like, yeah, maybe. But we just wanted your opinion. It's a valid thing. What more can you ask? What more can you ask? Even though they didn't agree with me, they were respectful, wanted my opinion. Can't fault it. Okay, I'm not going to get into debunking channels. This is more about the paranormal channels and not specifically investigators, because there's a channel or two going to pop up here that don't investigate, but they do just some really cool history stuff, and I think those need to be shouted out as well. Now, Entity 7 Joe Vitale does fall into the debunking category, but he's predominantly more of a investigator. Entity 7 Paranormal, Joe Vitale, congratulations on your engagement to Dawn, who gives me the stink eye. Beardo. Congratulations to you guys. So happy for you. Many congratulations. And if we get some congratulations in the comment section for them, I'd really appreciate it. Joe Vitale, he has waged war in my defense. He has argued with me of things that he thinks that I have gotten wrong. I have argued with him, yet he has always remained respectful. He conducts very good paranormal investigations. He spends a lot of money going to the top places in the United States, and he wants me to go to the States to work with him. He's currently working with the side-eye guy out in the United States at the Conjuring House and a few other places. The guy's got a love for it. He's been involved in some award-winning documentaries on the paranormal. He's been involved in some drama because he actually called out a friend of his for faking. I'm not going to delve into the who's, why's, what's, and when, but it takes bollocks to do that. Okay, this one isn't an investigation channel, not really a debunking channel, more of a reaction channel, and more of a reaction channel to the debunking community and the real paranormal. Fantastic Publishing. She just seems like a very, very lovely lady who is very, very straight down the middle. These are my opinions, these are my thoughts, I'll put them out there. And just an enjoyable sit back, nice cup of coffee or tea, and just listen to her thoughts on the paranormal, her thoughts on debunking, and etc. She's currently doing this sort of series where she is looking at different channels and doing spotlights on the channel. She's recently covered me, and that's not why I'm including her in this. She's been supporting me for a long, long time. But I see her every paranormal channel that I enjoy that has a premiere, or every debunking channel that has a live stream or premiere. I see Fantastic there. And she's not afraid to call us out on our misgivings either. And I appreciate and respect that. Next up, some people are going to be like, what the fuck did you just say? Broken Capital and Cabo TV. Now, okay, I've got a little bit of a history with them. And I'm not going to go over all of that again. But I learnt from Broken Capital, Aaron. Aaron from Broken Capital learnt from me. And despite all of the fallout and all the negativity surrounding a video that I made, every Wednesday, without fail, this man checks on me. He knows that the weight of debunking can weigh heavy in the threats because he's seen it firsthand. He's had people approach him to try and find out who I am, where I am, what I'm doing. And despite me bringing out a negative video on him, he never went for it. He turns up in my live streams. Him and Cabo are a comedy duo. And after our interactions that weren't the greatest, he then took what I said and learnt from it. And then he was like, do you know what? Beardo's right. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm a guy that goes out just to see if I get scared. And he does. And it's hilarious. I think he's learned from me. I think he's learned from other channels. He has ingratiated himself. The debunkers, despite the video I brought out, most of us still accept Aaron and Cabo, and they're fantastic. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're both the biggest scaredy cats you will ever see. Are they paranormal investigators? No. Are they ghost hunters? Yeah. Are they funny? Yes. Are they honest about what they do? Yes. I enjoy them. Have at it. Okay, exploring the entity. I've worked with Carl and his team for a little while. It's gone. Don't matter. I've worked with exploring the entity at a location that we can no longer access, and I'm so glad they took me there and trusted me with obviously coming along with an investigation. But Carl for a long time was going out on his own and with other teams, but now he's formed this team around him, and you know, they're just a joy to watch. Again, really nice people. They don't go for all the apps, gizmos and gadgets, but they've got bits and pieces that they use. Very, very... They're not afraid to have a laugh, but they're respectful in their investigations. Carl, when he calls out, if you've got the volume up on full, he is going to damage your hearing. But, you know, he's loud, he's clear. I enjoy them. I enjoy being in the company. And again, the guys that I stay in contact with regularly away from YouTube. A newer paranormal team, Paranormal By The Sea. I've watched the guy. I'm not going to get into the fun. They're funny. They are really funny. They investigate with lights on at all times. I think it's more to do with they use mirrorless DSLR cameras than video cameras. But, you know, doesn't mean you've got to be in the darkness for the paranormal to happen. They get freaked out by some things, but they debunk things. They're very respectful of locations. They unfortunately get caught quite often because they're walking around with bright lights on. But I enjoy them. I enjoy the sort of watching them learn as they go because they're a very new channel, but they're great fun. Okay, this channel is not really anything to do with the paranormal as such, but the locations that this lady goes to have a paranormal history. And it's Walk in the Weird, spelled W-Y-R-D, exploring places of interest. The channel is run by a lady called Nick, and she will go to Abbey's, Stonehenge, and the Jurassic Coast, Glastonbury, Shepton Mallet Prison, just places of interest, and it kind of crosses in with the paranormal because these are places you will see people investigate. She gets into the history, the backstory, the urban legends, folklore, and they're just really good videos, something to chill, sit back, relax, and she's a very humorous lady as well. She's part of the Discord community, and she's probably not expecting me to have done this because she doesn't necessarily sit in with the paranormal, but I think there's a crossover. I really do think there's a crossover. Okay, now over to Australia. First, Adelaide Haunted Horizons, the crazy ants from Oz. I love these pair. They are so funny. My introduction to them was a clip of 30 East Drive where I'm like, is that fake? And I take a closer look and I'm like, I can't see signs of fakery. Is that just gravity? Possibly. But considering it's 30 East Drive, could it actually be poltergeist activity caught on camera? I'm still undecided. They're undecided. But a lot of people called them fake for it. And I'm like, that was not fake. There were no wires running. You're all making these claims without having watched the full live stream where it is just one of them on their own in the UK. The other one is in Australia, in a house, recording with 2 mobile phones. It's as simple as that. There is no way with Alison rigging things up upstairs and then somehow walking past it with no cuts on a live stream without accidentally kicking a wire or something, or capturing somebody on camera. I mean, these pair fall over everything. They fall asleep during SDS methods. They're brilliant, and I think the calls of fakery towards them were unjustified just because some people have a problem with 30 East Drive or have a problem with the paranormal. I enjoy them. Next up, Amy's Crypt. Do I put any faith in any of the apps? Absolutely not. Do I think Amy's Crypt have faked anything on their investigations? No, I've never seen them fake a thing. Mr. Grey has recently said the exact same thing. While they do promote these applications that they create, they are more open than any other app creator that is out there. Parple questioned them, and then they just answer his questions, and they give him access to things, and they break things down with him in private, and they're like, yeah, any questions you've got, please just come to us, and we'll let you know. And again, Amy and Jared, even though I've never really interacted with them outside of their premiere or when they were on with the Ouija Brothers, they just come across as very nice people. I like them. I like their investigations. Are they more quick to think things are paranormal and jump and all the rest of it? Yeah, but just because I wouldn't jump at it, just because I wouldn't get freaked out by it, doesn't mean that they are wrong to be. I've investigated Candleston Castle, the same place Amy's Crypt took a very famous photograph, and there were some noises in there that they got freaked out by. Now, I understand why they were freaked out. They probably never heard a fox scream in the UK before. They heard one and were like, what the hell was that? Because fox screams sound like women screaming. Bloody murder. They also were like, are they gunshots? There's no guns in the UK. There is a firing range not that far. There's also a police tactical range not that far. They are not to know that because, you know, they're not from the area. But I enjoy their content. Now, I don't know if these guys are taking a break or whether they've done with the paranormal, but I want to give a quick shout out to Connecto Afterlife. I investigated a 30 East Drive with these guys, and I like them. They do great investigations. They are very, very open to the paranormal, but they don't stage things. And just a quick little shout out, if they do come back, I'll happily do a bit more with them. Days of Horror, another channel that I've got 30 East Drive with. What intrigues me with Days of Horror, they have built their own versions of the paranormal devices. The coffin music box, the Rembe, things like that. They've built all of these themselves, and then I go to 30 East Drive and they put all of these devices out in front of me and then just say, have a play with them. See if you can tell us what's right with them, what's wrong with them, can you debunk them? And basically, we spent a good hour just going through the devices, being like, this one's a little bit oversensitive. Hang on, that's going off only facing certain directions because of light through windows, things like that. And not at any point were they discouraged by it. They were eager to learn, eager to see what I tried to do so they can grow as a channel and as investigators. And I respect the shit out of that. And again, really, really nice people. Okay, Doof Doof Paranormal. Karen from Australia. What a lovely, lovely lady. I've been on her pre-recorded podcast with her where she asked 5 questions. She's had quite a few good channels on there. She has a love of the paranormal, and much like me, believed way too much and then the opinion changed. But she travels the world. She's been to the States, she's been to the UK, she's coming back to the UK, conducting her own investigations, and just a lovely lady, very supportive of the paranormal community. Enjoy her content. Dorset Paranormal Investigators. We have tried to investigate with these guys, and all we did was laugh. We couldn't use the video, mostly because there were too many of us. They are quite a large team when they had the full contingency with Colin and the other guys, and there was me and Purple, and all of us getting together for the first time. It was carnage. Great fun. None of us have used the video because it's unusable, but they do rational, logical approach into the investigations. But again, they're not afraid to laugh at themselves. They include all the bits where people are falling out of windows and getting stuck in mud and all the rest of it. Keeping it real. Really enjoy the guys. Me and Chris have become quite close friends as well. We share a love of comic book and horror movies, and just a great team that I really, really enjoy. And last one for today. And listen, if your channel hasn't been shouted out and you thought you were getting a shout out, it's not by design. I'm just, this video is going to be long enough as it is. And the last one is the Paranormal Monkey Podcast. Now, this guy has a history steeped in the real paranormal rise on YouTube. He was part of a very, very good channel that a lot of people have got a lot of good to say about. Unfortunately, that channel doesn't exist anymore, neither do the videos, and I'm gutted that I missed that. However, the Paranormal Monkey Podcast, I enjoy it. I enjoy these chats into the paranormal, these podcasts, these interviewing of people involved in the paranormal. And he just comes across, again, like a lovely, lovely guy. I'd love to go on the podcast. Not only that, but I'd love to get him back out investigating, because everyone that is aware of this guy have all said how good a paranormal investigator he was and how good his channel was. This is the video people have been asking me for months. These videos don't do very well as a rule because people prefer me to be calling out fake, but I like to counterbalance it with the channels to go out and watch, the channels that, investigate the way I like to investigate, or even the guys that just make me laugh and don't take themselves too seriously, or people that do work that is, somewhat related to the buildings that we like to explore and the buildings we like to watch channels in. So please go and check out all those. There's some very small channels I've just listed on there. Some of them are under 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get those channels over 1,000 subscribers. I really would. Wait, there is one more. Someone very new, the Ghost on Trent, told me to watch, and there's a channel called DontScareClay. DontScareClay does dark histories, paranormal experiences, and scary stories. How do I know this? DontScareClay does is, she's not an investigator, but she looks at paranormal history, ghost stories, ghost encounters, historic tales, things like that. And as opposed to investigating, she gets into the stories behind what the rest of us want to investigate. And I appreciate that. I respect that. She comes across very well in her videos. I think she's quite a new channel and is already over 1,000 subscribers with some help from some paranormal channels on their live streams recently. And it's not just the big places, like castles and all the rest of it. She gets into ghost stories, creepy urban legends and, you know, paranormal legends in homes and things like that. And I believe they're going to be doing weekly content. So go check that out as well. Just stuff to kick your shoes off to, where there's no drama and no, you know, nobody's going to get upset by somebody discussing mythology, urban legends, ghost stories, and claiming them for exactly what they are. And she's got a sense of humor about it. I enjoy the channel. I've only watched a few videos, but I think it's worthwhile to bring in these other people to the fold that sit outside of the realm of investigating, but can contribute to our investigating. Because if I watch Walk in the Weird or Don't Scare Clay or channels of that type, and I go to a place like Tamworth Castle, I can look at the history of Tamworth Castle through a Don't Scare Clay video, or go to Stonehenge and then watch a Walk in the Weird video, and then see what Nick has to say about it, to investigate that way, even though you can't investigate Stonehenge because you've got to pay to go in there in the day and it's all fenced off and all that sort of stuff. So please, go check out all those channels, and if you enjoy the content that they're putting out there, subscribe to them, tell them I sent you over, and let's keep this community growing. Let's keep this real paranormal community of debunkers, investigators, and the storytellers. Keep it growing, because there's room for all of us. I've never tried to gatekeep this. I've never tried to. And the only reason I haven't put debunkers in this video is more about the paranormal, because above all else, I love the paranormal, whether that's via debunking it or investigating myself. This is more to scratch that itch of the investigations, and a lot of people are asking in the comment sections, what channels do you recommend? So there's a huge video with a lot of channels on there, and this is a good thing, because a year ago I could have listed 4 channels. That was all I recommended, and then all of these other channels have come into it. And please don't forget that while you're looking into things like Three Spires, Purple is now part of that team, and ultimately it'd be really cool if we could get people like Walk in the Weird, Don't Scare Clay, and these people that just sit on the outside of the paranormal, maybe get them out on an investigation one night. That could be really cool. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is there a channel there that you already watch that isn't of a big subscriber count that you're like, actually, I already watch them and they're really cool, I enjoy them? Just have a conversation about it. Much love to you all. Go spread some love among the community. Beardo out.